enhance the trail system on a regional basis. Another observation I'd like to make is that we have an asset in the region, that being the downstream casino. I think that people are naturally drawn to the area as a result of them being located here, and that it makes sense for us to partner with them to give people more opportunities for entertainment and to occupy their time within our area by virtue of them already coming to the downstream casino. So I cited the example, and many of you have heard it. Perhaps there's a family that's coming to the downstream casino, and the man likes to gamble. He likes to spend his whole day at the downstream casino, but the wife and children don't necessarily enjoy that. So the more cool and unique things and entertainment opportunities we have in Joplin, we can leverage their presence within the community by partnering with them and creating opportunities for people to spend time and money within the city of Joplin, and I think this plan accomplishes that objective. So obviously the logical next step in terms of what you might be asking yourself right now is, how do we do it? How do we afford it? How do we accomplish this? Well, we're going to introduce some new funding techniques here this evening that the city of Joplin has never utilized, that explains how we're going to do this. And we're not going to get into specific numbers at this point, but we're going to talk about different tools that can bring literally millions of dollars into the community that we've not utilized in the past. I'll go through the three different aspects of the Spark plan and cover the funding potential sources of information or sources of revenue for each aspect of the plan. The first one is the town green on the far left side. And the two items that we have for potential funding for the construction of the town green would be new market tax credits, which I'll explain here in a little bit, and Modessa Light. Under the Cultural Arts Center, we've got three possible funding sources, including new market tax credits again, a capital drive, which was mentioned in the white paper that I received from the four leaders of the effort, and help from foundations. And for the depot, interestingly enough, we have more opportunities for different funding sources than the other two aspects of the plan. Once again, new market tax credits, historic tax credits. The depot is listed on the National Register, and if it's structured properly, you can avail yourself to tax credits, and just by structuring the plan can bring a lot of money into the community to actually make the improvements to the structure itself. Brownfield tax credits, MDFB, Modessa Light, Save America's Treasures, enhancements funds, and the possibility of CDBG funds. Other sources of revenue for the overall project could include the lease of the land bordering the depot for spin-off type developments, various improvements to infrastructure necessary to enhance the property from the park stormwater sales tax renewal. And lastly is the legacy program, or the foundation program, that we've talked about in terms of availing ourselves to resources within the community and people that want to leave something behind in a constructive manner in terms of what we can do to allow them to contribute to this particular project. I don't want to go over every definition that we have here, but we have a glossary. I think there's a few that we need to touch on. New market tax credits were created in 2000 as part of the Community Tax Relief Act. It's a federal piece of legislation. The project must be in a qualified census tract, which this area is, and it must be in need of reinvestment, which this area is. Up to 39% of qualified expenditures for the project can be recouped through tax credits. So up to 39% of the overall project cost can be recouped just by structuring the deal properly and utilizing tools that we've not availed ourselves to in the past. That alone can add up to many millions of dollars on this project. Historic tax credits. Those are a little bit more familiar and are being used on a private basis in different areas throughout the city, especially in our downtown area. And historic tax credits for those projects that are listed on the National Register, up to 45% of the overall expenditures or qualified expenditures for a rehabilitation of a building can be used via historic tax credits. Furnitures, fixtures, and equipment or new stuff would not be eligible because that doesn't fit with the overall objective of historic tax credits. So not every aspect of the redevelopment of the depot for use as a museum would qualify for historic tax credits, but much of it would, and that's one of the things we have to figure out. Another funding source is what we call Modesta Light. Modesta Light is a state tool, state of Missouri tool. It's a program to facilitate redevelopment of downtown buildings. It can be spent on public property, buildings, and right-of-way. 1/2 of an incremental general sales tax above the baseline year is recaptured over 25 years to pay for the project. Sounds complicated, but very simple issue, very simple concept, that the development itself will create revenues that help to pay for the development. And I would call that just working smart and structuring the plan in such a way that you can leverage new revenues that are being produced by the development plan to actually pay for it. And the last one, there's a lot of other definitions there, but I won't bore you with them, but enhancement funds. Enhancement funds are available through the transportation bill that I'm told could be passed as early as 2011. The reason I mention this is the design purposes are right on point with this plan. Enhancement funds can be used for historic preservation, rehabilitation, and operation of historic transportation buildings, preservation of abandoned railway quarters, and establishment of transportation museums. In my mind, that's an ideal fit for this type of use. And in closing, I would like to offer a little story, a little vision that I ask you to share with me in. Is the ideal circumstance in my mind for this project would be for a family to load up their SUV with the bikes, to go down to one of the trailheads or the parking lots of our linear park system scattered throughout the city, to unload the bikes from the SUV and to utilize the trail system to come to the downtown area, to the town green, perhaps participate in some of the events going on down there, or an event at the amphitheater. After they're done with that, go over to the museum and tour the museum facility, and then finally end up the day at the Cultural Arts Center for some type of artistic event down there, or some type of form of entertainment down there. Following that, they could get back on their bicycles, go back to the trailhead or the parking lot, load up the SUV, and go home. And how more wholesome of an activity could you have for the residents of the city of Joplin than something like that? Another benefit is that you can access the public transportation system down there, as that is the headquarters. And when I talk about the interfacing of different modes of transportation, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you could utilize the bicycles to access the downtown area, get on the trolley and go anywhere in the city, and then come back down, or for that matter, access the downtown area or the area that we're talking about for the Spark plan via the trolley, get on the trolley and go home. So that's the project that we've been working on developing for a while. Like I said, there's 3 aspects to it. We wanted to introduce it here this evening, to present it to both council and the public, to generate some discussion. We're prepared to answer some questions if you have them at this point.